At the program to implement this Jdbc. So let's have the creation of one of the class, and in this particular class let me just show you. This is what the Jdbc sample class. In this particular class the main method is provided, and these are some of the exceptions which we can handle. So directly with the help of the throws one can handle it. So SQL exception means if there is any error in the SQL queries, this can be tackled with the help of this SQL exception. If certain class is not been obtained or not been found, then class not found exception. So this is what the first thing. This is the next very important stage, as we have seen in the last session, that step 1 is to have the loading of the driver. So by using this class with the name class itself and the for name method from this class, you can just check here, returns the class object associated with the class or the interface with the given string name. So here the string will be taken as an input. So for this string, since we are implementing the MySQL, so that's why the related path is com.mysql.cj. So this is the new extension. Earlier it was only the mysql.jdbc.driver. So loading of the driver class is done over here, or one can say driver loading. This is what the first stage. After the driver loading, the second stage is to maintain the connection. So in order to maintain the connection, this is what the connection interface, and its reference is created with the, let's say, the con. If I just take the cursor over here, you can just check that it is with the letter I, capital I. This will indicate that it is nothing but the interface. If you want to go for this even, you can just check it. Its definition, it is public interface connection. So that is what the connection itself. So once the reference of the connection is selected, then the driver manager class, let me just take to this particular class also. So this is what the driver manager class. So this particular class will have the different methods by which one can just access the related output. So in this particular case, we are using the get connection method in order to maintain the connection between the Java code and the database. So in order to maintain this connection in an appropriate way, since we are using the MySQL database, that's why the Jdbc colon MySQL, that is what the database used, and this is the fixed format. We cannot change in the format. Localhost, since I am using my PC itself, so that's why the localhost has to be over there, colon 3306. This is the port by which one can connect the JDBC with the database. So this is the default port. You can change the port number also. Next is the database which we want to have the interfacing. Okay, so here we have created the database, that is what we have seen in the last session. Let me just recall it. What was the database we gone through? It is XE. Okay, this is what the database which we have used. So let me just write here, it is XE itself. So this is what the database, the password, username and password, this is what the username and this is what the password for my PC and my SQL itself. You can have the different username and password for it. So this is where I just made the changes with respect to the database. Once it is done, then I will just use the prepare statement, since we are going for the dynamic queries. So prepare statement is one of the interface by which I will just create here the reference, and once the con which has been created for this connection interface, I will just access the prepare statement from this con itself. So con dot prepare statement, this is the method which will require the query as an input. So here I will just type few of the aspects, since our table is nothing but with name student1. So I will just make the changes in the table. So just check here, this is what our table which we created in the earlier session. So this is what the output which we got for this particular table. Right now only two entries are available in the table. So I will just go here, this is what the table name which I changed, and let me just write here the roll number Next thing is nothing but the name itself. So I will just keep it as it is, and the next is nothing but the marks. So once these three entries are done, then I will just say values. So it has been specified here with the question mark. This will indicate that the user uh, can have this dynamic entries in the next stage. Like here the ps dot means with the help of the prepared statement reference, I will just access the methods that is set string. So this is nothing but actually the roll number itself. So since it is the roll number, I will just mention it as a set int 1 and let it be roll number 3. So this new entry we will just add, because in the table we can just observe that this roll number is having the data type that is the integer. If you want to check the data type, you can just go over here and just type here DESC student 1. So this will give you the idea that roll number is having the integer type of data, name is having the varchar that is string, and marks is again with the integer type of data. So let's switch over here. This is how the set int method will give me the access that next entry which I will accept, it is the integer. Next is, let's say it is the Lakshman, which is nothing but the second field of this question mark. This is the first field. Okay, so that's why 1 is provided over here, and this is what the roll number I expect. For the second question mark, that is what the 2 second field. So I will expect, let's say the uh, name of the student is Lakshman, and for the third entry, since it is nothing but the integer type of value, I will just enter here, let's say 55 marks, and this is what the set int method. Okay, so let's access it. Once it is done, this is what the step wherein after the query firing, the user will have to interact with the query checking and the rest of the things. So here, when someone goes for only the execute method, it will indicate that he is dealing up with the ddl command, and when we go for the execute update, it is indicating that we are going for the dml kind of command that is specified in the help itself, insert update delete. Okay, and if you are going specifically for the ddl, like creating the table and rest of the things, then just access the method that is execute. If it is the execute query, then it is related to the result set, wherein the user need to go for accessing the entire table, and he want to drag it to the console itself. So that is what the since the output for this execute update is integer, one can check here. So it is integer type of output, that's why the int x is been taken over here, that is the additional variable, and this is the simple message for the user that the data is inserted successfully. So this is where the insertion of the data is done, means we can check up to this particular stage that or up to line number 18 that whether our java program is interacting with the, let's say, the database or not. So for this entire interaction, obviously we need to go for the connector, that is what the mysql connector, that is the jar file. So after this particular stage, we can go for accessing the database by using the next approach also, means whatever you store in the first step, means up to line number 18, this particular data has been stored in the database. So the same data or whatever the table carries, if someone want to check all these contents, just go for rest of the part of the code. Okay, so here prepare statement, again it is the interface. I will just go for the new reference for this interface, con dot prepare statement. Again this con is the reference of the connection interface. Select star from, this time the table name is obviously it is student 1. So as I told you in the earlier stage, if I want to access the table entries, means row wise entries, obviously I need to go for the execute query. So this will result in the result set, which will carry the entire table. Now from this entire table, one by one entries has to be taken out. So that will be taken with the help of this next method. So what this next method will do, whatever the first row of the table is provided, so it will take the control to the first row, and row wise the data will be displayed. So I will just write here the roll number. This is for the first thing, rs dot with the help of this result set reference get and the first parameter in our case is nothing but the integer because it is the roll number. Second is string, and the third is again integer because it is the marks. So like this, these three entries will be taken out. So once this entire things are done, just check which are the different import we are going to do. Import java.sql.connection. This is for the connection interface. Next is java.sql.driver manager. This is for the driver manager class, and obviously we need to access this get connection method from this particular class. Next is the result set. So instead of all these lines, one can just type import java.sql.star. So all the related classes and the interfaces directly one can access it. Okay, so this is regarding the JDBC. In the next session we will just check how to connect the jar file and how to check the result. Thank you everyone. Thank you very much.